I'm Dave Obudzinski, President of the Community Foundation of Greater New Britain. Today I've got a recipe for you that is an Obudzinski family favorite. My wife and I used to live on Long Island, and we frequented a place called Jim's Deli. And Jim's Deli had this wonderful sandwich called a Marcellino. And the Marcellino was a sub that had shaved steak, garlic, mozzarella cheese, and bacon in it. So sometimes you're not in the mood for a big sub like that. My wife asked me if I could modify the recipe because she loved the taste of it all. So instead I created an open-faced Marcellino sandwich. So it's a great meal or snack using up some steak that you have left over and just a few ingredients. So that's what we're going to do today. All right, so our ingredients today for the Marcellino are some bread, and I like to use a bread that's not too thin because you first want to toast it and you want it to stand up to the ingredients that are going to be laid upon it. And then we're going to have some shredded mozzarella cheese, so we have that here. We have some garlic salt that we will put on a couple different times in pinches. And we have some bacon bits, and I prefer cooking my own bacon and crumbling it up rather than using the store-bought bacon bits. And then finally, the foundation of our recipe is the London broil, or other steak that you might like. This is a London broil, and like to use it up after a meal, making Marcellinos, and making the family happy. So that's what we have for you today. So first steps in our Marcellino today is to take our toasted bread, which is already toasted here on this pan. And first what we're going to do is lay down a layer of mozzarella cheese. So I'll take some of that and I'll sprinkle that on to kind of give it a base, something that the steak is going to sit upon. So a little bit of mozzarella cheese on both slices. I say that this serves two because each person can get a slice, but you may want to make more, considering how good it is. So a little bit of cheese there. And then what I'm going to do is sprinkle a little bit of garlic salt on the cheese, not too much. And if you are trying to cut down on your salt, then you might want to just use garlic powder without the salt in it. Okay, so we've got the garlic salt on there. And now what we're going to do is take some of the steak and lay it on there. So I've sliced most of the pieces that I need. I'll just slice one more here for the sandwich. So what we'll do is we'll take the steak and we will lay it on, and I'm going to use my fingers that are clean and lay these pieces on here because it's a little easier to do with your fingers. So as you can see, I like to keep it a little pink on the inside for my leftover steak for these kinds of sandwiches because it's going to get heated up a little bit more in the oven. One more piece ought to do it. Okay, so we have our steak on the sandwich now, and what we're going to do now is lay down some of those bacon bits that we talked about. So like I say, I like to cook my own bacon ahead of time. I always like to have a few strips in the fridge to be able to use for BLTs and whatever. But I take it and I just crunch it up into bits, nice and fresh. And then I'll take those bits and I will place some of them on the steak itself. Give it that bacon flavor underneath what will be another layer of cheese on top of this. Put on as much as you'd like. And then what we'll do is sprinkle a little bit more of that garlic or garlic salt on the steak and the bacon. I know it sounds like a lot of salt, but it's really tasty. All right. And now we'll top it off with one more layer of cheese. So we'll put that on there just like so. Don't worry about the cheese falling off the sides. It's artistic and it's all part of the recipe. So we'll do that, and then what we'll do is we will take that and put that in the oven 325 for about 10 minutes, and it's going to melt nicely, and then I'll show you what it looks like when it comes out. we're gonna go check out our Marcellino. There we go. So we have 2 slices of Marcellino and ready to slice up if you wanted to, or just have as is. So enjoy a Marcellino sandwich from our family to yours.